Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Today, welcome to the first week working day. Today, we thought we'd look in the light of all that's happening in the polity, the defections, the dynamism, political calculus, call it whatever you will. The Senate president is rumored to be moving out of the party, ditto for the Speaker of the House of Representatives, mass defections here and there. Is this really democracy that we are practicing is the question that we are going to be asking ourselves today. Is it democracy or is it something else? We have people who have been in office, public office for the past 20 years and have no other size of livelihood, and they are not civil servants. So all of this is bothering to some that how does the average Nigerian know what to determine as the difference between this party and this other party? It is thought that most politicians are in the game for their enlightened self-interest. If that is the case, the question needs to be asked, is it really democracy that we are practicing? Well, this morning, to help us explore these questions, two gentlemen, Barrister Monday Oyekachi Ubani, he's second National Vice President of the NBA, as well as a keen observer of the polity and a commentator on political affairs.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you very much for coming on. Right next to him is Mr. Chuks Nwoko. Mr. Nwoko is a publisher, Millennium Development Goals. He has his own leanings, his own political leanings, but he nevertheless has agreed to come on and explore this particular theme about whether what we are really running with in Nigeria is democracy. Gentlemen, thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, then I start with you because happy birthday in arrears.
Thank you very much.
That was Friday, right?
Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Yeah, I won't go ahead and ask how old you are, seeing as that has security implications.
And I have a right to remain silent.
It has security implications with all the... Anyway, congrats.
Thank you, sir.
And right next to him, it was not his birthday, it's Chuks Nwoko. He's a publisher, Millennium Development Goals, as well as a public affairs analyst as well. Thank you, as always, Chuks, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Now, gentlemen.
I also chair the Fresh Democratic Party in Delta State.
Oh, thank you very much. The First Democratic Party.
Fresh.
The Fresh Democratic. And by the way, the Reverend Chris Okotie has indicated that he has communicated to both the PDP and APC that they should adopt him as their presidential candidate.
Foreseeing what is going on now.
Yes, indeed, foreseeing what is going on.
And the more that is going to unfold. In the next 1 month.
There you go. Neither of those two organs, as I recall it, have yet responded.
No.
They're still considering the proposal.
Absolutely.
So either PDP
in the
or
usual
APC,
characteristics, if you observe the loquacious tendency of the chairman and his rambunctious attitude.
You are really of the Fresh Democratic Party.
You can just anticipate what is going to happen. But he's prepared for them. And those of us that are with him, we are waiting because he's our champion. We are behind him. He will deal with the matter adequately when the time comes.
Cool. So he wants the PDP to adopt him
and
as the presidential
APC
candidate.
also.
He also wants the APC to adopt him as the presidential. Let them sort it out amongst themselves.
Absolutely.
And just,
Yes. In the whole of that confusion that they are embroiled in right now.
There you go. Well, I wouldn't call what's going on in the polity confusion, but it does lead us to what our subject is for this morning. Now, I thought we might explore the current state of our politics and what it means for democracy. Of course, we know what democracy is all about, well, at least at the base elementary level, one man, one vote. It's supposed to be a game of numbers. But there are principles behind it because politicians are supposed to come on board, and all of them, I don't think there's any politician who was admitted to coming into politics for his own selfish interest. Every politician has come in for the betterment and upliftment of his environment, be it the local government, be it the state, or at the national level. So the principle of democracy, there's very, very little choice, when it comes to political systems. So we're running this democracy. Now, what's going on the polity where in the National Assembly, for instance, we all know about the mass movements, mass defections. In fact, the leader of the Senate, it is, thought that very, very shortly he's moving out of the ruling party where he is as we speak. And shall we say, the leader of the House of Representatives, it is also thought that he's going to be moving. We're hearing all sorts of things. Now, I want to ask if any of this threatens the real soul of democracy and what it is all about, uplifting the society that politicians find themselves in a fair and egalitarian matter based on numbers. Is everything that is going on, do you feel, and let me start with you if I could, Onyekachi, democracy, the spirit of it, never mind the letter, the spirit of it is intact, would you say? Or is there apprehension?
Well, I think we must place this under a proper context. Even in America, with their matured political system, there are processes, there are actions that actually engage the public. They keep on talking about it. In our own case, we have not developed politically. We have not reached that political maturity that is expected of our system. There are so many immaturities. The issue of lack of ideology view within the political system. People can be one political party in the morning, in the night. They are not joining political parties based on shared ideologies. They are not joining because, they believe that these are the things that these people have propounded as their belief. And so that belief has gotten me convinced to join that political party in order to expound that ideology within the political system. No, they are not. They use political party purely as a political platform in order to win election, and that is it. Okay. So it is the political immaturity, the processes that are playing out, and that has gotten us engaged. And then we are not really talking about the substance of democracy, and this is the issue that these guys have perfected. They have perfected this act of distracting the populace. So instead of you demanding the real dividends of democracy, what you are entitled to, what's supposed to happen in the economy, the basic infrastructures they are not developing and all that, the laws that can make for good society, these are the reasons why we have elected them. But they have now engaged in all those processes of political immaturity, and so our attention is diverted. We are discussing them all, the defections here and there, the quarrels here and there and all that. So they have perfected the act of distraction. And that is, to me, is what's going on. Whether it portends danger to our political system is a different topic entirely. But as I said earlier, this is where we are now. The level of political maturity has not come up. We have not matured politically. And so the processes and the arguments and the actions are as a result of the product of our political immaturity. Just like what you have also in America that is going on. They have come to a level. So what engages them there is also the political maturities and the discussions that go on and all that. So the level we find ourselves now is where we are. Now. Now. And so it portends danger or not.
It's interesting, that last sentence, where we are now. And there will forever be now. You can't be in yesterday. You can't really be in the future. You have to be in now. And this is where we are at now, where there's confusion. And I want to chip in something that I forgot to mention. We have a system, a political system here, where there are guys who, I think I read an interview by Professor Patutomi, and he was recalling that we have in our political system people who have been 12, maybe 20 years, if not more, earning their living entirely from being in politics without being civil servants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The now that he talked about, that you re-echoed, is a dangerous place to be, politically speaking.
But we don't have a choice. We are in the now.
No, I have just presented you
expressing a sense of apprehension.
Yes. But when he mentioned America, he was also right in saying that America has a matured politics or democracy. The danger that we face is that on the surface of the earth, the globe that we live in, it's only Nigeria, maybe I'm wrong, it's only Nigeria that has its own democracy and economy uniquely tied together. That's what Patutomi was just saying. Where all you need to have access to our economy is to be active politically. So democracy and our politics has become an access code to our economy. So our politics is constantly destroying our economy. We're likely out of recession, or we're likely going to, fall back into it. In the United States that he mentioned about, you have citizens innovating.
And we're mentioning the United States because they sort of patent
Absolutely.
democracy.
Their citizens,
exported it
are
from there to the
constantly
world.
creating, innovating. They are entrepreneurs. When Steve Jobs was around, he didn't care what was going on in Washington. He was just interested in creating a brand. What do you call him? Bill Gates, the same thing. So in our climb, tell me one man, apart from Dangote, who is in the business of manufacturing and creating consumables. The world is constantly creating and developing their countries to become smart societies and smart countries. What we have here is people who are looking for access code to our wealth. Where does our wealth come from? From oil, the extractive industry. So you have people who are idling away and playing politics. And you know what? Politics is just one leg of democracy, political party politics. So these guys in the National Assembly are doing these tours, and we're discussing them in what I have called strategic escalation. They escalate these things, we remove our eyes from what we should do and discuss, and we're talking about them. And they are the ones that are benefiting, because this month they haven't done any job. Well, by the end of this month, which is tomorrow, they probably get paid for doing nothing. So they sit in the National Assembly doing nothing, yes, but being compensated.
But it's part of the problem, because the point you made about we have been distracted, that is, they are supposed to be representing us.
Absolutely.
All politicians are supposed to be representing us. And I wonder if somehow we ourselves have not lost sight of what democracy is all about, whereupon we could say, wait a minute, no, this is a bit selfish. The reason I voted for you, for example, the reason I listened to you on the campaign stage was that I felt you subscribed to some ideas, and I had to pitch my tent somewhere, and I went with you. But now you've switched. Now you've changed, for example. Where does that leave me, and where does that leave the populace? And indeed, do these things matter? And perhaps more importantly, those that are players supposed to be representing us know that it conceivably might not matter to us, and so are doing anything that they want.
Yeah, issue of standard is key. An enlightened populace is all you're required to move the country, any country forward. But when you have a populace that have no standard and they don't have an idea of what is supposed to be,
it looks
an
like
ideal.
You're blaming us.
No, yes.
You're blaming us, the ordinary guy who's going to give them the vote.
Okay, listen to me now. It's very important we get this right. I have seen societies, and I've read history of societies moving forward, and I have seen that the populace contribute a lot, almost 80% of it, because when you're enlightened, you set a standard for those you have elected into positions of leadership. But when you have no standard, that's why people, if you go to the social media and see argument of Nigerians, even over this issue of all these leaderships, Tozo and all that, their level of understanding is so low. They don't have an idea of what an ideal leader is supposed to possess as a quality, what you expect an ideal leader to go and do in other nations. Look at other smaller countries. I posted something on my Facebook that even, I'm not talking about Europe now, some of our black nations are overtaking us, and they are there. I just came back from Kenya and I wept. I went to Kigali, I went to Rwanda, and I see a country that has made where they are now. I don't know whether we can even catch up with them. I also heard of Ethiopia now, a young man that has just come up now. He's trying to build bridges across the continent in a young man that just came into position of authority, and he's trying now to make Ethiopia to be one of the fastest growing. So I'm talking about other black nations now leaving us.
But we are the leaders of Africa. We are the
the giant is sleeping. The giant is, you're a comedian calling yourself giant, because there is nothing giant about you. You see other nations' economic situation. I mean, I went to Kenya, as I told you. $1 to shilling is 95.
Ghana is doing great too.
Great. I went to Ghana last year, sir. See? And I came back and I started crying. If you see the airport, I gave somebody money in Kigali airport. The man returned my money and said, no, I am being paid to do what I have just done for you. I have helped you. So you don't give me any money.
Your Nigerianness
transferred
over there. So you were offering.
I'm saying of standard. You mentioned it.
Yes.
If you don't have a standard, you also, make do with what these guys are giving us. I see people argue, oh, let him come back, let him be, even in all the states, the governors that have not performed, these people are saying second term to 2023. What is the standard? We don't have any standard. So as long as we don't have standard, we cannot hold our leaders accountable. And so what they will do is go there and distract us because we don't even know what the debate is supposed to be. What is supposed to be our discussion?
Yeah.
It's not what they're doing, it's what they're supposed to give to us. So issue of standard is key. Issue of leadership that is enlightened is key, and we lack it.
But politicians, especially the parties, they try to put out what their wares are. In other words, their own bill of rights, if you want, bill of sale. Call it roadmap, call it even constitution, call it ideology. I'm wondering how much of that really counts. Because they will do these things because they have to. They have to hand them to people like you, who want to analyze it and decide whether to stay on the Republican or Democratic side, a la the idea coming in from the U.S.
It will not work, and it will not count until people like you and the media can have a mind, what I call a mind substitution. And this is what I mean by mind substitution. By the way, I was talking about how the democracy is, as I have noticed in America, and comparing it with this place. What ours has done for us, which I didn't mention in my earlier, presentation, is the fact that we have a polarized country. We have a troubled nation. Coming back to the media, people like you and the managing editors and the news editors or the big men of the media, until they have a mind substitution where they can ask the question that you just asked now. It means that we need to look out for people who have ideologies, providing education for followers, because he agreed, and I agree with him that education is very key. Now, how is it very key? I've been in my political party since inception. And I remember when I went to contest election in 2000 and say, oh, why do you join this party? But these people who have mature democracy, what did they do? When Trump was contesting the election, you have many other great Americans contesting with him. Each person had followers who were volunteers.
And that's
volunteers.
And that's because they keyed into the ideas that they were selling.
Not only are they just volunteers, they contribute $55 to support such ideas.
Okay, so putting their money where their mouth is.
Absolutely. So when you see them on TV, like I'm sitting on TV, I'll be sitting as a former campaign, volunteer or aide to a former president or a former contestant and all that. That's how democracies elsewhere work. Yeah. But here, it's about the money. In fact, my friends are quarreling with me on Facebook that, oh, why are you with Okote? Why are you with this? Why are you with that? I said, that's where I belong. That's where I want to be. It's not about me. It's about what I believe in, because the party has an ideology that can save this country. PDP came into power in 1999 without an ideology. Okay, let me give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, that they came. Let us
say you can just probably say about your own.
No,
Fresh,
but let's,
Fresh has an ideology, is what you're saying.
Yes, but let's talk about
all the
PDP.
other parties also put out an ideology.
Let me tell you why I disagree with you.
Which one is the
ideology? Let me tell me what. In 1999, when they came to power, they probably had an ideology which I can't remember. But when Yar'Adua came, Obasanjo, 6 years earlier, had attended the United Nations Millennium Declaration and came back with the 8 Millennium Development Goals. By this time, the Millennium Goals has become an agenda for Obasanjo's administration. What did he do? When Yar'Adua came, he changed to 7-point agenda.
So where is the ideology?
Few months later, Jonathan came. He turned the same agenda, he turned into transformation agenda. Before you know it, they have changed it severally. An ideology is that
very
constant whatever that you give animation in the life of your citizens. For instance, in Fresh, Fresh is not a word. It's not a full word. It means faith, responsibility, equality, security, and hope.
Okay.
It stands forever. What is the ideology?
But I don't want you to use this platform to promote or campaign for Fresh.
A mind substitution. I'm not going to do so anymore. So I apologize.
Yes. So you see.
Just to show you the difference,
exactly.
That's why I mentioned it.
Because connected with what we're talking about is this whole political concept of party discipline, where whatever the party says it represents and stands for, people are supposed to subscribe to it,
absolutely.
And supposed to do so loyally. But we've seen examples where we don't know if there's any. Take for instance how the current Senate president arrived, in office as the Senate president. We all know that that was against the wish of his party. But it went down, and he's still in office. Maybe he might choose to move off. Nothing happens. When this whole matter of party discipline, if you, not you, but if anybody joins a party and at the drop of a hat is about to shift tomorrow and can shift, how do I know exactly what you believe? By the way, I hear that I think it's in all the news that returning former decampees are saying that not here, or there's no chance for you here. So all of this is going on, and it begins to emphasize the point that we have a politics of maybe people. And you said something, Chuk said something, maybe you want to comment on it. The whole matter of he sought to involve the media. As you know, it's a global concern right now, fake news. Fake news, and I think you can include social media in the general media, whether we like it or not. Fake news has become a big issue. You said we have a polarized society. People are telling their own versions of all the killings that are going on. People are, all of this is going on. So the ordinary man who has to make a decision as to whether to go with you or whether to go with you, I don't see how he sees his road clear.
The problem is with foundation. Everything about Nigeria has foundational issue. Yes, I'm telling you, even the so-called coming together in 1914 and all that, we have foundational issue we need to deal with. How did these political parties emerge in 1998?
Is it still a hopeful situation?
Yeah, very hopeful. Let me.
Our situation is hopeful.
No, it's redeemable. It's redeemable. 1998, I hear it's the same person that wrote all the constitutions for all the political parties.
I wouldn't know about that.
Bola Ige is reputed to be the one that wrote all the constitution of all the political parties. So, issue of shared belief, which we have been emphasizing, issue of ideology, which we have been emphasizing, is very important. So we got it wrong. We're not even identifying any political party with an ideology. As he said, the different leaders that came under PDP came with different agendas, different from their own. What is the ideology? Because what they're supposed to have pursued is that ideology. And whoever is also coming in must understand that ideology, must comprehend it, must internalize it before you are even admitted in that political party, so that you must now respect the propagation and the implementation of that ideology. The moment you depart from that ideology...
That's an ideal case scenario you just painted.
It's the reality. That's the real thing. That's how it's supposed to be.
That is
if you say you're operating,
that is how it's supposed to be.
If you're operating a political party system...
But as you know, Chooks, the ruling party, put that in abeyance for a while because it needed the numbers.
But that is where they also got it wrong, because the moment you now open their doors for every manner of persons, whether they believe in your ideology and all that, so it is now a bed of strange bedfellows. And so what do you expect when they now, I didn't even know whether they thought they would even grab power, whether they even knew in the first place. I'm talking about the ruling party. They attempted and, come in as you are. We don't even mind whoever is coming in. They all came without understanding the ideology of the change, without understanding the ideology of the APC. And so immediately they came, you can see the trouble even in the emergence of leadership in the National Assembly, because they didn't even believe in all that. And you can see even 3 years down the line, there has been no time this political party has been at peace, even within itself, where they have agreed, this is what we have even come to give to Nigerians. So
until recently,
the processes
when
now,
they claim that, now we can begin to rearrange our house.
Yes, we are free from...
Now that all our...
But when they were coming in, you accepted them.
By force tenants.
But let me tell you this. Let me tell you, it's not true. It's all about propaganda, because the same people that gave notice that they have left went and saw the president in Aso Rock and said what they have just done is that they gave notice to quit, so that they can remedy the situation. So they are still with them. So most of them are still with them. So don't believe all this lie that we have now, we have exited all the bad, eggs, we are now cleaner and all that. It's all about propaganda. We should look at these things realistically. I keep on saying about standard. Let's hold our leaders accountable. I want Nigerians that are enlightened. And what I do is to make sure that Nigerians don't look at issues, from the perspective of sentiment or individual and all that, or religion. Let's look at Nigeria.
Excellent. You see, what Onyekachi is saying is excellent, but it all depends on an enlightened population, an enlightened society. But that enlightenment, is it somebody's responsibility, or the system should have concerned itself with education and coming up with an enlightened society?
There's hope for the system, but like I always say, the media is a major problem. Like I was asking one of your colleagues, is it only PDP and APC that is a registered political party?
Is it a problem or is it a problem or a factor?
Well, it's a big problem that we are not addressing. Nobody is talking about it. And I have been talking about it. The media, we are blaming political parties, blaming everybody. The media, the question I'm asking you, is it only PDP?
But the media will have its own leanings. As you know, anywhere in the world, the media will have its own leanings.
Look, it does not have any limit.
Leanings, I said leanings.
Okay,
different medias will have different leanings.
No, it's every media has. But I'm asking the big boys in the media to stop destroying our democracy with their cynicism. And I am practically saying it so that all of us can wake up. I'm in the business. Look, the question I've asked you, sir, even though I don't need an answer from you, is it only PDP and APC that is in Nigeria? The answer is no. To move Nigeria forward and in responding to your question, I said to you that no is the answer. Secondly, you need to educate the people how that it's not the only political parties in Nigeria. That's your job. Number 3 job that you have to do is that, look, in France, in other small...
But don't quality ideas of their own accord float to the top?
Wait, now, let me make this point. In small countries in Eastern Europe and even now in Western Europe, political parties and their candidates are beginning to take political positions because they have remained with the subject of immigration. Mm-hmm. And they're beginning to win elections.
Okay.
So since 2002, I've been with my political party, and we're saying there's need for a new constitution, there's need for restructuring. Just that my party is fresh, and we come with our ideology. You will not talk about it. You will not talk about it.
Mr. George, good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Uncle Yori, when I hear people talk about political ideology, it makes me laugh. We cannot have ideology in politics in a continent like Africa now. You can only talk about ideology when you have outlived infrastructural deficit. There is no one country in this continent that I know that has outlived infrastructural deficit. You see fine people who have no water to drink, who have no roads to use, who have no good schools, who have no good health system. As long as those facilities are not available, any party that comes to government, we always concentrate on, I will be able to do this, I will be able to do that, until a time when those ones are no more issues for the populace. Only then can you come up with an ideology that this is the way I, as a party, want to manage our infrastructure. This is the other part, the other group will say this is the way we will manage it. But as long as we do not have the basic needs for living a peaceful life, you cannot talk about political ideology. I just want to say this because I see many of your analysts every now and then talking about political ideology. We just cannot have it in Nigeria.
Mr. George, yes, you're part of the program.
Yes.
What then do you think anybody, myself, any ordinary citizen, could use as a yardstick to decide who he wants to follow, which political organ, which political party he wants to follow?
Okay. Yes. You remember that I said once on this program that I am supporting President Buhari. I came to the open because he is the only one that has come out of all of them that says, look, I want to tackle corruption. I want to stop people from stealing public money. And that is the reason why I have, from day one, followed him and supported him. That is an ideology.
Okay.
If he cannot push it through totally because of the infrastructural deficit I spoke about. People are still hungry. People are still looking for basic needs of life to be able to live well. But if you don't remove corruption, that one cannot happen. You need somebody that has to come out and face that one drastically. That is why I have come out to support him.
Okay.
So ideology will naturally evolve. When individuals, we can now talk about individuals. A party, it can't be done as a party for now. There is no party that will come out and say, we are going to fight corruption, because there will be many people that are corrupt in that party.
Okay.
Just as we are having,
Thank you very
now.
much, Mr. George. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mr. George. I'm going to go to break now. At least you've told us what handle you used as a device to make your decision. We'll come back and look at if there are other handles that could be helpful. But we got to go on a break right now. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the state of politics, and because I don't think you can talk about democracy and not talk about politics. Politics, and in particular democracy, what it really means and whether we are grabbing hold of it. And just before we went on break, Mr. George said he doesn't think the idea of an ideology or anything like that is going to fly because of what he referred to as an infrastructural deficit. He said, I asked him, so how did you decide what party to align with? And he says he decided because he heard one overriding statement, I'm going to combat corruption. And that was good enough for him because he believed in the sincerity of it. Now, Onyekachi, I know you said, quite frankly, you disagree.
I disagree with him. Because you can't make an egg without breaking it. The idea of political party means in the world, all over. I'm a political science student. I read political science up to third year before I now move over to law. The idea of a political party means that there must be a belief, a shared belief for a political party. It is that shared belief you either use to affect the economy, the politics, the social, the infrastructural development he's talking about, so that when somebody now sees that belief, that this is what this belief will help to do for society that I belong to, then you now join that political party. No party cannot ever come in existence without ideology. So what George is saying is that...
Shouldn't the members of that kind of a political party you've talked about, shouldn't they now conduct themselves in line with that belief?
That's the thing. So there must be a belief in the first place in which anyone joining say, I share this belief. Okay. So for you to say that there shouldn't we talk about ideology and all that is just from ignorance. Because you must have the fact of a political party mean that there must be ideology that even brought it into existence in the first place. And that is the belief that is now attracting you. He said corruption. That is what actually attracted him to APC. Because the man says, I will fight corruption. That is an idea.
And he said nobody else has dared to say that.
To say that. Are you following me? So for that purpose, that is why he identified with it. So saying that a political party, we don't talk about ideology, we should...
So you're saying that can be taken in lieu of ideology?
Yes. This is what you believe in, a shared belief.
Chooks, I also heard, they might have not have heard at home, that you disagree with Onyekachi's position.
Yeah, because while he was speaking, he was saying under his breath that he disagreed and all that and all that.
Within the context, Mr. George's submission.
George, within the context of what he was saying, after all, I belong to a political party and we have an ideology. So that ability to give life, to give animation to whatever is what Mr. George is talking about. It's not because political parties don't come to being with agreed whatever. Like I come from a political party, we have 5 ideologies. When we come to power, are we able to give animation to whatever? I don't think that corruption is APC's part of ideology. I think it was a personal thing.
But it's a main plan.
It's
a main plan.
So George was just saying that if he's able to, maybe he likes the man because he believes that he's able to give animation to that belief or to that plank. I believe, and I agree with him, that what keeps a person together or a group of people together or a political party together is the ability to stick to what they agree. For instance, we all agree.
Sorry. Do you think that because the president is the leader of his party, I imagine, I don't know, I'm not sure now whether it's the chairman, whether it's the president, but because the president is right up there, do you think everybody in APC aligns with that position?
Well,
Adams Oshiomhole seems to be positioning himself into a no-nonsense sort of a guy.
The APC has is because
who's going to be touting that?
The fight against corruption from anybody's mouth apart from him.
Okay, let me not lose Bode in Jos. Good morning, Bode.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in. Please go ahead.
Uncle Yori, you have kept me online for long.
I'm so sorry about that. Really apologize.
I want to talk about the ideology.
Okay.
There is no ideology in Nigeria. There's no political ideology at all.
So is it therefore democracy that we are doing? I suppose that is the central plank. Are we actually running with democracy in Nigeria?
1979, 1983. You know that NPN stands for agriculture. You know that UPN stands for education. GNPP stands for an idea. PRP stands for an idea. But since 1999 to date, the problems were caused by the military. That forced Obasanjo on us in 1999. Like what your caller, one of your guests said there. In 1999, there is no ideology. Yar'Adua came with his 7-point agenda. Good Lord Jonathan came with his own agenda. The agenda of Buhari, when he's coming, everybody knew the value is fighting corruption. Is corruption. And let me tell you, most of these politicians that are decamping from one place to another, they are taken off for granted. They cannot be taken off for granted because their aim they are not able to achieve their aim in PDP in 2015. They think Nigeria are full, and that will follow them again chiefly for PDP back.
Buddy, would you therefore
he told me that two senators that become to PDP cannot come to their local government. I'm saying this on air. He said he can say it anywhere, that they cannot come back to that local government. Even their award, they cannot win it.
That's not true.
Most of them win because Nigeria are tired, and we are saying corruption in the former political party.
Okay, buddy, thank you very much for calling.
And in fact, we didn't even care about who is going to the House of Rep. We didn't care who is going to the House of Senate. We just want Buhari, APC.
Thank you very much for calling. It's clear you can't hear us, but thank you very much for calling. Really appreciate your call. I actually wanted to try and ask you a question, but it was clear that it was a one-way.
He offed his the volume, so he was not hearing you.
Okay. Because where does all of this leave us? I wanted to ask him if, therefore, in his own opinion, we are still practicing democracy. Part of the problem, of course, is that there are too many players that have been coming for the past 12, 15, 20 years that are still here today and are still holding sway. How can that be? Somebody came in, I think BBC's, Zainab Badawi came in to run a program in Unilag, and part of her intro was that more than half of Nigeria's, teeming population is under 30 years old. What exactly are these guys, sub 30? What are they holding as the essence of democracy and how it should be run? I guess that's it. Is it what you guys are saying that is the classical thing, or are they going to have to learn to operate in this system?
Let me explain to you what I think is going on. The population that you talked about.
Yes.
By the way, children learn by seeing what their parents are.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like that analogy.
Yes. Children learn, so that's what they are seeing. Now, what are they seeing? You have people 3 years ago who went to sleep in their car because they just wanted to be Senate president or be speaker or be whatever. Now, a year or so before, they did the same thing to their political party, sold out. So I call them, let me be clear, I call them political undertakers. I call them political troublemakers. I call them, and they speak political shibboleths. So our youth that you are talking about that are in their millions, that's the game that they see of betrayal, treachery, and mendacity, politically doing these things and being paid to do this. And these are children that are overfed because if you have not watched Tom and Jerry so much and all these cartoons, you won't be doing this thing that you are doing.
I hear you loud and clear. But let me quickly go over to Mohammed in Ilorin. Good morning, Mr. Mohammed.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
And good morning, the panelists.
Morning.
Please, I just quickly want to draw you people attention to what Mr. George, Mr. Bode called. And based on what they have, their own submission, I just want to follow in line with them. What Mr. Ubani is saying about ideology in Nigeria, particularly among these political parties, we don't really have anything political ideology. What we do have is that we are grappling for power. We want people. We are struggling for power. So how can somebody?
Power
how can we
because
have
of what? Access to the economy.
Yes, now.
Yeah, we are just grappling for power. We don't have the people that voted us. We don't even have their own pity, their own this thing. We don't have their interest. Yes, we don't have their interest. What we do have is just our own personal service. How do you expect party ideology in this case? Look at what is happening currently now. We are seeing a lot of diversion from one party to another just because of personal interest. Did they want to tell us that it's because of the masses that they are defecting from one particular party to another? But I just want to send this message to Nigerians to be aware that we should be mindful of, we should be watching these people that are moving from one political party to another. If they cannot speak or they don't stay with a political party and tell us that what they have been doing with that political party, we are ready to put them out come 2019. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for calling in. Okay, sorry.
Let me emphasize this fact. I said, look, it is the same person that wrote the constitution of the...
It's an interesting fact that you just threw out there. It is a fact.
Yeah, it is a fact.
It is a fact.
It was Bola...
you can verify that fact.
It was Bola Ige that wrote PDP constitution, also with AC then. I think it was other AC, that he was the same person that did. So there was no... there's no defined...
It seems such a well statement that all of the parties, maybe...
other ones, they all copy. It was copy and paste, So what I'm trying to say is that there is no, single ideology.
Apart from us.
Maybe, French. There's no singular political party today you can identify. This is what their shared belief is. We're all saying the same thing. And that is not healthy for us. Because it makes somebody to enter a political party, or for the sake of using political party as a platform, to ascend to political position. That is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that you share this belief of this, and I'm going in there in order to ensure that I implement the shared belief. And so the mention political party, if you're a political science student, when they mention political party, the next word I could
know every member's disposition.
Their belief. So that's why that also actually attracts you.
I have Komalafe on the line from the UK. Let me not burn your credit. Good morning, Mr. Komalafe.
Yeah, good morning. And thank you for this program.
Thank you, sir.
People say a house without a good foundation can never stand. Whatever you build on it will eventually crumble. Nigeria has no genuine foundation. And the attempt now to restructure the country will have been accepted for a good Nigeria to come. But people, the political power holders, they are blocking it. Therefore, there cannot be ideology, there cannot be solution to Nigeria problem, because, listen, we are not actually the same. If we recognize that and let everybody develop according to his potentials, the country will go up. It's a good country to be together. It's a good country to be together. The population is beautiful, everything is beautiful, but please let everybody be able to do whatever it is good for them so that they can contribute to the generality.
Okay.
But when some people are holding people down, take for instance, you sat for JAM. They gave somebody 10 points. They said some people will hand 62 or something, and yet they will not enter university. Is that genuine? Let us do that research. And I'm suggesting to the whole Nigerians.
Okay.
Don't vote for general election. In federal election, don't vote for federal election. If they don't do this restructuring.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Komalafe in the UK. He's spoken that this is one of the things that he believes restructuring will address. But he's also suggesting in there that there are power blocks that want to keep the status quo. People that have been in power for the past 20, 25 years, and it was Patu Tomi who just, it's something you know. You know it, but until someone else says it, you then sort of realize it differently, that there are guys in this country that have no other visible source of income.
Can't do anything.
Apart from that being in public service and are not civil servants. That's the key.
If you read Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's book, you will even get a more annoying level that some of them have taken.
Where does all of this then leave that this concept called democracy that we're following? Because I also introduced the matter, I think it was you when you were speaking, you brought in this whole ethnicity, religion, it's a balkanized society.
It's a pluralized society.
Pluralized society, I beg your pardon. And everybody is pushing these agendas, throwing confusion up into the air.
In what I call strategic escalation.
Vincent in Ikeja, good morning. You want to join the conversation?
Yes, Uncle. This is Vincent.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I believe all the political parties, they have their agendas and their ideologies. AD had his own, CPC and other groups that combine to form AD, they have their own. They now rode on an agenda of change from the number norms. But when the president, which is presumed leader, came to power, he forgot about the ideology of APC, now was pursuing his own ideology. But since then, I always tell people, if Lagos...
How do you mean about that? Explain that a bit.
I'll tell you. He said, I am for nobody, I'm for everybody. You understand? But I always tell people, if Lagos can work, Lagos is based on an ideology. And Lagos will be consistent with his ideology from the day one of this new democracy. Okay. And it's working. Everybody will see Lagos.
Yes.
APC won the election because of Lagos ideology. But immediately this man came in, he shut out every other ideology and was pursuing his own ideology.
Okay.
That's why we have this integration.
I got to make room for other callers, but I really do appreciate your call. Now, my understanding, and nobody has to agree with me, that statement that the president made, and that he's, in fact, I think on TVC, on one of the montages, you will hear it every night or so. I thought it was all, that's what every politician is supposed to be like. I'm not coming here for the benefit only of my party members. I'm coming here for every Nigerian.
I belong to everybody.
I belong to every Nigerian has a right to my leadership if you vote me on the platform of my party.
But what has happened?
In that sense,
what has happened?
It's about, I'm going to be fair to all.
But what has happened is, and we're not paying attention to it, is first you have leadership disability. The man, for whatever reason, is not been able to. That's also happened to political ideologies.
Don't bring in your fresh matter again.
No,
don't bring in your fresh matter again.
I will not. I will not. But the point that I'm making is that if you bring...
Because that time will come. We will open for fresh to come and put all his ideas down, but not now.
Okay. If you take what he said, I belong to Ibrahim and I belong to nobody.
Yes.
Whatever it
It's a good statement, isn't it?
It is, as far as I'm concerned. But what happened? You listen to the last caller. There's what we call leadership disability. Leadership disability.
You are
not being able to.
No, you are a fresh
not being able to.
You are a fresh man.
Let me finish.
You are a fresh
not
man.
being able to give animation to that thing that he said.
Having said all that you said on behalf of Fresh, I'm going to read that statement as speaking as a freshman. But I'm going to come to you, sir. But I have Yakub on the line. Good morning, Mr. Yakub.
Yeah, good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
And good morning, Pastor Obani, and the second man in the studio.
The second man is Mr. Nwoko, Mr. Chuks Nwoko.
Thank you very much. You see, Chief, I want to go back to what George said earlier. He said some of us that love President Muhammadu Buhari, we love him because of this stand about to fight corruption in this country. Because Pastor Obani will agree with me that before the election 2015, I know Pastor Obani is a friend of ours. He always say that corruption is our problem. Because this corruption is a thing. Let me give you a typical example, sir. You see, Mr. President sent a budget to National Assembly. And then at the end of the day, the National Assembly, they cut off all the projects that can be able to affect the ordinary citizen of this country. I mean capital projects. And then they now insert their own. That nobody will follow them. You see, all these constituency projects you people are inserted in a budget. Who is it going to follow them to know how the project is going on? And then Mr. President now says that, why are you doing this? Those things is an ideology, because I want to develop road, I want to develop every sort of thing. But they cut it down, especially where the president believes in something, and then the National Assembly believe another thing. That is what is moving up from one party to another.
Thank you very much, Yakub. I know there's a lot more. Thank you very much, Yakub. There's a lot more, but we've got to keep it brief so we can get as many contributions as possible. And the conversation has come back to this whole matter of the selflessness that every politician should have. So that we were reminded of that quote, "I'm for everybody, I'm from nobody." And by the way, I think researchers have said that, wait a minute, it sounds good coming from President Muhammadu Buhari, but he didn't originate it. That idea came from somewhere else. But I wouldn't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He put it out, and that is the signature that everybody's working on.
That's what most leaders do. They emulate other leaders.
Yeah, one would have thought that he would follow through with that statement, giving life to it in every aspect of his national policies and all that, both in appointment, both in policy, both in distribution of infrastructure.
So you have your issues in that regard.
I have our issues with that. Even the issue of the corruption fight is, as my brother Yakub rightly pointed out, some of us stood with President Buhari on this issue of fight against corruption. And and we want him actually to have
nobody else has made that play.
Yes,
that's what I'm going to do.
And yeah, he started very well. But along the line, you now discover that it was more or less now taking a one-sided track. You are not looking at even allegations.
Reverting to the same thing we're talking about, enlightened self-interest. I think that's the charge you're making. Is that the charge you're making?
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, sir, for interrupting you.
You are putting words into my mouth.
Okay, let me say it your own way. Very quickly, because I don't want to lose Olanrewaju in Ilorin.
Yes, I want you to look at everyone around you too, because he said at that time that even if his family is involved in any act of corruption, and he got after them. And that really resonated with some of us, who believe in that fight. But unfortunately, can we really now competently say that, look,
you don't think it
has been an all-round fight and all that? So we have issues with that.
Okay. Mr. Olanrewaju in Ilorin, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Well done to the guests in the house. I just want to chip in that the callers, Nigerians, we need to understand the concept of ideology first.
Yes.
If you understand the concept of ideology first, you'll be able to know that truly is Nigeria is a lie or not. When you see what Barrister Ubani gave an instance, that they have been to countries within Africa continent, and you see what an ordinary worker demonstrated at the airport.
That's right.
They have something in their mind that corruption at any level is inimical to the progress of any country. In Nigeria context today, and I'm happy that you are dissecting the statement made by Mr. President. The origin of the statement is that the girl, and there is certain factor responsible for uttering that statement in that time. Yeah. But as President Muhammadu Buhari made it, you see Nigeria will rose up to assist him in line of fighting corruption. But as Ubani just omitted, along the line, sincerely speaking, Mr. President failed to put that statement into operation. Yeah. Anybody found one thing, regardless of how close the person is to you, that person must be dealt with. And anybody does something good, no matter how far the person is to you, it's your friend. That is not the concept of the fight of that statement. But when you look at it now, you see the way at which we are fighting our corruption is like we are adopting stick and carrot.
Okay, sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Are we therefore? Are you satisfied in your mind that it is actually democracy, the soul of democracy, that we are practicing?
Hello?
Are you satisfied that we are practicing democracy then?
No, the nature of Nigerian democracy, it's peculiar. In fact, it's not obtainable to what is now being
all right. Well, I think I just caught the word no. You seem to defer that. It can't be said to be democracy. But yes.
Sir, if you check the election of November 8, 2016 in the United States, and the promises and the campaigns of Trump, and see what is outstanding there is the building the Mexican War. He is now on the neck of Democrats that they must, even though he has said the Mexicans were going to pay, he has changed his mind now, the Americans are going to provide money. But those was, plus all the things that he has done. Look, a few years ago, the present Pope went to the United States and he got into the Congress chambers. The speaker was standing near this human being called Pope. Tears came down his face. Subsequently, he resigned. Standing near a fellow human being who just happened to be a Pope, he saw the vanity in him and all that. Our own people here are so wicked in what I called earlier.
Even if they are very close to God. Even if they get close to God.
No, they are close to God because you see,
even if they get close to
them,
they will not
praying,
repent. They will not
they are
repent.
praying. That speaker resigned in what I call political satanism. Our own people.
Yes.
Our own people.
But why are we accept? I get the point you're making. But why is it so doable in Nigeria? Why can't we rise up and say, no, you're not getting my vote? In fact, this party has now been injured because this man has entered that party. I'm not voting for it. That's not how we do.
This man was standing there near a human being.
I hear you.
Tears came down.
I hear you.
He resigned. Our own people here will go to mosque. With the money they have stolen, make offering and bless him, and others will go to church and pay tithes.
Yeah.
So what are we left with now?
The satanism in our politics is the reason. Hold on now.
Oh dear.
The satanism in our politics is what the question you're asking. The solution is
I never used satanism.
No, you didn't use it. I used it, but that's the question that has been bothering you. How do we move forward? We must reject these people in the coming election and look for a neutral person who is not carrying any political baggage or debt. Who is going to come on the scene?
Don't mention Fresh.
Why will I mention Fresh? You already mentioned Fresh.
They have come with vote by Nigerians.
I gotta go. I gotta go back.
They have come with vote.
Don't vote for any
by.
old politician.
Please
look for a new
not
person.
in any way, sell your conscience, sell the votes. Your PVC because of money, 10,000 naira or 5,000. Reject their money and look for people with antecedents. We must get this country back. We must reclaim Nigeria. Nigeria is in problem and we must reclaim it. It is in your hand. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Barrister Monday Yokechi Ubani, dramatically speaking directly to the camera there. As Daddy Shoki put it, shine your eye. Right?
You will not allow me to speak into the camera.
No, don't speak into the camera. Thank you very much, my brother Chuks.
We provide neutrality. Thank you.
Chuks Moko, publisher and public affairs analyst.
Our Fresh Party.
And clearly he has indicated where his own leaning is. And also thanks to you, Onyekachi Ubani.
Thank you, my pleasure,
our
sir.
second national vice president, MPA, and political affairs analyst as well. So thank you very much for being with us. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.